continuation of episode 4. I apologize for it cutting off when it did last time. I believe we were going through the yearly awards to check to see who won what. But I just wanted to say that it cut out in the middle of me trying to record that episode 4. My power went out, so I am back. Luckily, the franchise saved exactly where we left off, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to continue going through the awards on the season. So, in the AFC, Offensive Player of the Year was Le'Veon Bell, and they were only 8-8. So we're going to see if we had anybody nominated. I doubt it. Nobody nominated. Anybody for Defensive Player of the Year? It was Von Miller. Anybody for our team? Nobody in that category. Offensive Rookie of the Year was Josh Allen, and they had a 4-12 record. Mike Gesicki did have a candidacy for Offensive Rookie of the Year, and he came pretty close. As well did Kalen Ballage. In terms of Defensive Rookie of the Year, it was Tremaine Edmonds, which is nice to see. Anthony Averett did have a chance to win it there, and so did Minkah Fitzpatrick, so that's good. We had two young guys have a chance at Defensive Rookie of the Year. Best quarterback, we didn't have anybody, but Phillip Rivers won that. Best running back was Le'Veon Bell, and of course, we're not going to have anybody on that list. Best wide receiver, Chris Godwin was on that list, which is nice to see. Offensive line, I don't even think it's worth looking at this. We had nobody. Best defensive line was Myles Garrett. We may have had somebody. Cameron Wake was up there. If he would have had a little bit more production, I could have seen him actually in the running for that. Von Miller won Best Linebacker. Nobody in the running from our team. And then Best Defensive Back. Let's see if anybody made it into the cut. Nobody for our team made it into the cut for Best Defensive Back. We will go through the NFC real quick just to see who Offensive Player of the Year was. Aaron Rodgers, of course. Luke Kuechly, Defensive Player of the Year. Saquon Barkley, no surprise, Offensive Rookie of the Year. And Roquan Smith, Defensive Rookie of the Year. That's exactly as you would expect. Todd Gurley, Devontae Adams, David Bakhtiari, Vic Beasley, Luke Kuechly, Tramon Williams, Graham Gano. I mean, none of those are too surprising. Maybe Graham Gano is the Kicker of the Year. But other than that, I'm not surprised by any of those. So no, we did not have anybody make the Pro Bowl. No Pro Bowlers for us this year, which is no surprise. But next year, I have a feeling we're going to have a whole lot of Pro Bowls on the roster. So stay tuned for that. We're going to build this roster up heavy over the offseason. And we got to see who's in the Super Bowl, of course. It looks like the Patriots, potentially. So out of the AFC and NFC, it's going to be the Patriots versus the Lions, which is going to be a crazy Super Bowl matchup. We want to go to postseason. We want to go to the Patriots. And the Patriots lost to the Lions in the Super Bowl, which makes me a little bit happy. That's nice to see the Detroit Lions finally win a Super Bowl after their drought. I believe that they don't have a Super Bowl. So it's nice to see that they made it back to the Super Bowl, made it to the Super Bowl, and got a win over the dreaded Patriots. So we'll go ahead, we'll sign all these players here real quick. We don't want Brock Osweiler. In terms of halfback, I do want to keep Jalen Samuels. We'll give him 3 years. Little money. Jeremy Hill would be a nice backup, but I think we'll end negotiations with him and we'll consider bringing him back off of the free agent market. At fullback, I'm willing to give Freddie Stevenson a long-term deal because Frank Gore will be departing. A wide receiver, nobody to re-sign. A tight end, Bucky Hodges. I'm okay bringing him back with his pretty good stats, and we will bring him in long term for sure. And he'll re-sign, which is beautiful. Zach Banner, we will want to bring back. I'm thinking that as a 67 overall, we're going to want to keep him on as a long-term backup. I like his potential. I like his abilities. We're going to try and bring him back at a low amount of money, though. Yes, he will re-sign. Left guard, we do want Rod Johnson long term for sure. He's only 23 and is potentially the future of that position for us. I'm going to see if I can get him for a relatively cheap price. Yes, you can get him for cheap. Jesse Davis, I believe that we're going to decide to not bring him back at 27 years old now. Right guard, nobody to re-sign. Right tackle, nobody. Arden Key, we do want to bring in long-term, 23 years old. Regardless of what happens with him, he will be a long-term backup at least. We can get him for cheap. At D-tackle, I want both of these guys back long-term. They'll be permanent rotational players. I'm okay giving him an offer like this. We'll see if he takes it. Yep, he's willing to go. Let's see if we can give Vanderdoes something similar. I'm willing to leave these guys on the team permanently as long-term backups. Stephon Anthony could be a good depth linebacker here for us. I think that if we brought him in for 3 years and low money, it wouldn't hurt us. That's fine, he'll test out free agency. I'm not too concerned with bringing him back. We do want to bring back both of these corners. I'll give you a 4-year deal. Kind of a prove yourself type of deal. And then I will give you a long-term deal. I'm going to sign you through all the way till you're 31. Free safety, Duke Johnson, we want long term for sure. He's 23, so we'll give him the max 7-year deal. Probably pay him a little bit extra. And then Shamarko Thomas, I don't believe that we would bring back. He's 28. It might be worth bringing back as is. 2 years, he doesn't want a lot of money. That's okay. That's a good backup there. So we'll bring him in, and then we'll still have money left over to be able to bring in a lot of players. So, we'll see, we have nobody else left to re-sign. And the next stage will be free agency week 1. So let's see who's available and who we can bring in to help the team. We're looking for quarterback, offensive line, potentially a halfback, some linebackers. So let's see who's available. We had the highest overall player available is an 87, so that doesn't bode well for us. At quarterback, there is Tyrod Taylor, Teddy Bridgewater, who I did want to bring in the first place, Andy Dalton, RG3, Landry Jones, Tom Savage. Deshaun Kaiser would be an interesting one. He's still only 23 years old, so I might be willing to give him an offer. And I think that's what I'm going to do. I would be willing to bring in Deshaun Kaiser on a little bit more of a long-term deal. A 4-year deal, you know, long-term you can be our backup type of thing. You know, $5.5 million. Would you sign something like this? It's a 71 offer for him, so I'd be totally willing to do that for him. Bridgewater is going to command a little bit more money. He's not going to develop much since he's the age of 26. So we'll go ahead and move on with that one offer and leave it at that. I'm looking for a running back that doesn't have a whole lot of competition in terms of bidding. I'd be okay bringing in like a TJ Yeldon type of player, somebody that's a little bit younger, and would give us some flexibility at the halfback position in case our starter goes down. Yeah, Jeremy Hill we could get at a discount, but I think to start we're going to go ahead and get an offer in on TJ Yeldon. I like the idea of bringing him in as a second back, and then we wouldn't have to bring in a halfback from the draft, because I find it to be a little bit risky sometimes bringing in a halfback from the draft. We've got a nice even number. It'll be an 84-point offer, which I'm okay with. Don't need to get a fullback. I don't really think we need a wide receiver, but now that I think about it, we could use a return specialist. So, a Martavis Bryant type of player could be interesting. I want to see if there's maybe a Cordarrelle Patterson around. I don't know what kind of deal he's on. Yes, Cordarrelle. So that's the type of player that we want to bring in to return kicks. I would be comfortable offering him maybe a 2-year deal, not that much money. I want to see if I could bring him in, and then if I could bring in, where's he at? Martavis. What is his stats? What do his stats look like? Yeah, I think that he would be an interesting guy to go ahead and bring in as a kick return type of prospect. There is an offer in for him already. I don't know if I'm willing to try and outbid somebody, so I might take that offer off, depending on what else is left here. Chris Conley would be a nice one, actually, at 93 speed. So I would do something similar, and he's actually a little bit younger. We wouldn't have to compete for him. Rashad Perriman, something similar. I know he's got a lot of speed. My only problem is that I don't know who all is known for quick kick returning. So we'll come back and we'll probably take our offer off of Martavis, unless I really decide that that's somebody that I want to go with. I'm going to be looking for offensive linemen that are a little bit young, but are actually, you know, good enough that they'd be able to impact my team. You know, these low 70 players aren't really going to do much for me. So unless there's somebody pretty good here, we're going to basically be fixing this position through the draft. I think that's what we're going to do. I could bring in Newhort, but I'm going to have to compete heavily for him. Daryl Williams I'd have to compete for big time. Yeah, I'm just not interested in any of these players really at this point. In terms of defensive end, we don't really need one. I don't really think that we need a backup either. Nobody particularly interesting here anyway. In terms of outside linebackers, Shane Ray's there. Ryan Shazier's there, but I'm going to avoid signing him. I don't want him on the team, just because I think it would be a little bit unrealistic in terms of he would never play for a team that's not the Steelers. And I don't think that he's actually even coming back to play at this point. So we'll avoid that. There are no other linebackers that particularly interest me. You know, because none of these guys are that much better than what we already have. In terms of cornerback, Trevor Williams would be a big-time, like, immediate impact corner for us, and I wouldn't mind bidding heavy to bring in a guy like that. Brent Gimes, I'm not really interested in. Kayvon Webster's older. Yeah, I think that with the money that we have, I think focusing it in on bringing in a guy like, you know, Williams would be prime real estate. So we're gonna have to bid heavy to bring in a guy like this, but we'll just put a place marker bid on him for now. Safety, what I'd be looking for is maybe somebody that can play that sub-package linebacker spot a little bit better, because we didn't have somebody that could really play that spot this year. More of a strong safety type of guy. There's nobody that I'm particularly interested in here. Jake Elliott, what's your kick power? Yeah, I think that we're going to actually go ahead. Did we sign our kicker? Having a guy like that is hugely impactful. So I'm going to go check on my kicker real quick. We might go ahead and actually cut him. I know he was a rookie. His kick power's a 92. I wouldn't incur too much of a penalty for cutting him. I'll actually wait. I'll keep him on the roster until we are guaranteed Elliott. I think having a powerful kicker like that could be something that really impacts our game right now. It's only 24, so we can give him a long deal and make him, you know, very happy in terms of money. Make him really want to come to the team. We'll probably increase the offer a little bit more than that. I'm okay giving him a little bit more money. We're not going to be spending too much yet, so I don't mind giving him more. And then if there were a punter here that I really cared to see, our punter played pretty well this year, so I won't worry too much about that. But I'm going to go back in, I'm going to look at my negotiations. I'm going to probably try and shore up a couple of these offers. In terms of quarterback, we'll increase your offer a little bit to be a little bit above ace where it's at. Maybe we can try and get him first try. 78 points. 4 million. 5 years. I'm okay because he's young. He could be a potential long-term answer. I'm okay shoring up, you know, some of these positions, giving them a little bit more long-term deal. It'd be nice to have TJ Yeldon long-term because he'd be a long-term backup, seeing that he's only 25. In terms of wide receiver, I want to give Cordarrelle a better offer. It just seems like a lot of money to be paying for a guy like this. You know, I guess it's only a 2-year deal. It can't hurt us too much in the long run. I'm bringing in a little bit more skill to be depth at wide receiver. And then Martavis Bryant. It's a real interesting one there because the stats look real nice in terms of, you know, speed, acceleration, catching, and everything like that, but I'm not sure that he'd be able to kick return. I like the idea of bringing him in, but I think we're going to pass on him for now. Leave ourselves with more cap room. Probably spend it on these other positions. I know we didn't have much in the way of these positions, so we'll go ahead and we'll bid up on Trevor Williams. I don't know how much I want to overpay, but the fact that he's an 88 means that he's going to demand a ton of money, and I'm okay giving it to him because, you know, if we're going to only give him like a 5-year deal, we're not going to be overpaying for an old player at any point. So it's a 112-point offer, which means that they're giving him a heck of a lot of money here. And seeing as we're not bringing anybody else in, I'm okay. I think I'm actually okay doing this. I think that he's 25 and he'll progress, and he'll be a huge impact player for us. Strong safety, kicker. You know, I'm really starting to wonder if there are any other positions that I want to bring in, but I don't want to pay for a 30-year-old quarterback. It doesn't really seem like there's much more on the market that's going to help us. We have good wide receivers. We have a good tight end. The O-line positions here are weak in this draft. The only other thing that I could see us doing is if we really wanted to upgrade at linebacker. Marcus Golden plays well at linebacker. I just don't think that it's worth it based on overalls. So based on those signings, I think we're going to go ahead. We'll advance to the next week and see. I like adding Elliott as the kicker. I like bringing in a couple of speedy wide receivers that I know can kick return. TJ Yeldon, I believe, can also kick return. Tramon Williams decided not to go with us. That's okay. That frees up money for us for later on. I really wish we could have got him, but I don't think that's going to be too big of a deal. We'll see who else is left on the market. In terms of cornerback, there's not really much left. I wonder if there's anybody young. There are a couple guys that I had looked at before that were interesting, but nothing left that particularly interests me. Nothing at O-line. There's a couple tight ends left that could help. I wonder if... yeah, I think it looks like he signed. So, not too much left at any of these positions. Nothing that we really need. I think we're just going to go ahead. I don't really need to scout too much more, so I'm just going to skip that for now. And I think we're going to go ahead and we're going to get into the draft. And so we ended up with the 3rd pick. They picked a D tackle, Ed Oliver, 1st overall. And 2nd overall is left tackle Greg Little. So we do have our choice of quarterbacks up here at the top. So I think that we're going to go ahead. And it looks like we're gonna go with the best quarterback overall. I like his throw power as an A, as opposed to an A-. So I think we're gonna go with Herbert, out of Oregon. He's 6'5", so he looks to be a good, a big pocket passer type quarterback. He fits our scheme perfectly. So that's gonna be our 1st overall pick. And he has superstar potential. It says that we reached. He's ranked 285 in true talent, and we drafted him at 3. So, I think that that's a glitch, clearly, because he's an 81 overall with superstar potential. He was 21 years old, and I know that was one of the main reasons why I wanted him. But he ends up having quick potential, which is really good for us. Only a 72 overall, but the fact that he has quick potential is going to be important for us. So we'll pick him with only a couple seconds left, and he has star potential at 22 years old. So we're looking good in that department. We're looking good. We got a deep. So let's pick this guy and see if it's the same story. Yeah, it seems like what they did with this roster is anybody that is like 21, 22 years old, they're going to have a good development trait. So go ahead and pick your, when you guys do a rebuild, go ahead and pick guys that are younger. Pick guys that are 21, 22 years old, that are going to have time to develop because they're going to give you better potential traits. And then, in terms of quarterback, I did want to see if I could pick up another quarterback, and Trace McSorley is sitting here. I think I'm going to go ahead and reach for him. He has good arm strength, and he has star potential, so we end up with 2 quarterbacks here that have good potential for us moving forward. And then I think with this pick, this is almost going to be a throwaway pick. And the guy that I wanted, Blaylock, the top fullback, is sitting there. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to pick him up at a 74 overall, which is fantastic. We had probably one of the best drafts you could possibly imagine. It seems like there are a lot of good potential traits in this OSFM draft class. So it looks like our draft is going to be pretty good. And it looks like we're going to get this team up pretty quickly. I'm going to go through and I'll adjust all of the positions in the Adjust Roster tab. This is another big tip. Once you finish drafting, you want to go through and you basically want to just do all of your roster adjustments as is. So at quarterback, we actually have some interesting battles here. Herbert projects to be the starter for sure, and then I think we want Kaiser and McSorley on the roster, so I think we're going to cut Trevor Knight, to be honest with you. I don't even know that I want him on the practice squad anymore, and I think we'll try and deal Ryan Tannehill. And then we're going to go to halfback. I think we're going to leave these 4 on the roster. I do want all 4 of these guys. I signed in Yeldon to a big contract in the hopes that he would be able to provide a little bit of a more of a 1-2 punch behind Kenyon Drake this year. At fullback, we drafted Blaylock. I believe we signed Freddie Stevenson to a long-term deal, so we're going to run 2 fullbacks, something that I like to do. Not a lot of people like to appreciate that position, so, I think the fullback position is a very underrated position. Being able to have a couple of those blockers that can also sub in at the tight end position is really helpful. Being that I brought in Cordarrelle Patterson and Chris Conley, that frees me up to be able to get rid of Isaiah Ford and Leonte Carew, both of which didn't progress much as young players on our team. They just didn't see the playing time that I wanted them to, so I'm okay with getting rid of them. We're going to start these 3 as our top 3. We brought in Chris Godwin to be that guy, and he has been that guy up to this point. Cordarrelle is going to be our punt returner, and then we need 2 more receivers who I'm okay with being Chris Conley and Jakeem Grant, and then we'll probably put Quandre Henderson back on the practice squad. He's a 63 overall. He's still 22 years old though, so there's the potential for growth there. Tight ends, I think we're going to leave exactly as we had them last year. In terms of offensive line, I think that this frees us up to move. I actually think I think we're going to have to move. I think we're going to do some shifting around here in terms of the offensive line. I think we're going to put our stronger player in terms of pass blocking, Juwan James. I think we're going to put him at the left tackle position because we struggled last year to protect the passer on the left side. So we're going to put Juwan James on the left tackle position. And then at right tackle, I think we're going to start the rookie Daryl Brooks. Or sorry, no, I think that he's going to start at guard, and I think Laramie Tunsil's going to start at right tackle now. Because this guy that we drafted at left tackle has some speed. So we just got to determine what position we want him to start at. I think that we'll start him at right guard. And we're going to change his number to a 60. We'll leave that position as is. In terms of left guard, I want to move one of these guys to center, and I think Dorian Johnson is a good candidate to be that guy. Because he doesn't have the speed to keep playing as a guard. Left guard, we're going to leave that as is, and then Hilliard was kind of the swing guy. At center, I think that I'm okay with keeping Kilgore. We might move him to bring in a different player. And actually, I think what we'll do is we will put Asiata at center, and I think we're going to get rid of Kilgore. Him? No, we'll trade him, and we're gonna trade Tannehill. Said Cameron Wake did retire, so I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and shift Arden with him starting as a young guy, still only 23 years old, opposite Charles Harris, who is set up to be a pretty good player. And actually, it might be worthwhile to move one of these guys to the outside. Or we could just rotate them in. It shouldn't matter too much, but I definitely want to start Copeland at defensive tackle. So we will rotate these guys in at defensive end. In terms of outside linebacker, it's going to be the same story as last year. It's going to be the same thing out here. Jerome Baker is going to start at the right outside linebacker spot. At cornerback, we do have a couple people that we had on the practice team. Free safety is going to stay the same. Strong safety will stay the same, with Jordan Whitehead going potentially to the practice squad. We're gonna release Jason Sanders. And actually, yeah, we'll release Jason Sanders, allow him to find another team. It might be worthwhile just to trade him. So I think what we'll go ahead and do is we'll advance to the next week, which will be preseason. We'll find that trade real quick. We'll look at what our team's overall is, and then I will show you guys. I'll cut the video there and be back at you soon with episode 5 of the rebuild, where we take this team for a playoff run. So let me go ahead and do a trade here. So we want to find a team that would be interested in Tannehill. We'll take the contract of Kilgore, and then would also potentially be interested in a kicker. So I'm assuming that there would be a team that would be green for Tannehill, but potentially not. I know that there are a couple teams that have terrible backup quarterback situations, so it looks like the Ravens are interested for some reason. I don't think it makes a whole lot of sense to send them here. I would send him here, but Lamar Jackson's here, Joe Flacco's there as a backup, and RG3 with Brock Osweiler. That doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense. I know the Rams could use a backup quarterback, so I'd be willing to send them here. It's just a matter of what I could get in return. I don't need a whole lot. In fact, I don't even know that there's anything in particular that I want. I might just do this for a draft pick. I think potentially a linebacker would be nice, but I'm not sure that they have too much in that department. Yeah, they don't have too much that I'd be interested in. Not too much at any other position really either. So how about you guys give me a 4th round pick? I'll give you guys Tannehill. You guys could take on the salary of Kilgore, and you guys can have a kicker that can battle it out with your kicking staff, even though you have one of the best ones in the league. So I'm okay going ahead with that. And then we'll cut the episode here. It looks like our team is only at a 75. I'm not too sure how that rating is working out. I think that it's because our depth chart isn't set quite the way that we want it to be yet. But our offense is up to an 81, and our defense is at a 75. So with that being said, I will see you guys in the next episode. Leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you like the content, or if you want to see more, go check out some of the other videos that I have uploaded. Please, please, please leave a like, leave a comment on the video, give me some feedback, and we can discuss what we should do with this franchise moving forward.